Konnichiwa! Today we are playing Joyride to Hell again. Yay! Pachi 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 pachi. We're going with the accept route this time, so I guess this will probably be easier on my throat. Alright, let's start. Accept. You're waiting for Annie to jump at— oh, wait a minute. You're waiting for Annie to jump at you and scream, "Surprise!" as her dad gets out of the car. The tape around his wrists evaporates into thin air. The parrot pulls you into an awkward hut to reveal their grand scheme. It'd be the perfect way of properly welcoming you into their messed up little family. A Sid joke like that would seem right up her alley. Only that you knew that moment would never come. Just as you knew that if you made the wrong move now, you had more to worry about than just Annie's dad. Annie was severely unnerved as is. If you questioned her any further now, the situation would certainly escalate. It might be best to just go along with it now. Tudy had said that you could simply go along with a murder. That wouldn't hold up very well in court. Shit. Is he even alive? He should be. Annie murmured, unsure. I doubt he knows what's going on. The moans of pain from 3 steps away seemed to hint at something different. For your own well-being, you decided to ignore it for the time being. I need a moment, Annie. Annie nodded and awkwardly looked around, deciding to seat herself on the trunk and contemplate on what to do. Ento Doodle! Hi hi! Konnichiwa! We're playing Joyride to Hell again. Maybe trying to rub the dirt off her beyond salvageable sneakers was her way of doing that. Ah! You glanced toward her, sighing inwardly. Very nice. Yes! Anne used to say nothing but praise of her dad. Around town he was very well liked. A little short-tempered maybe, but nothing that will alert anyone. I apologize. I missed out. It's okay, don't worry. He was a frequent churchgoer, donating an appropriate sum every Sunday. Maybe his age should have alerted you more than it did back then, an obvious sign that he wasn't in the house to help raise Annie. Thought he was nothing more than a babysitter paid for by favors. Even that doesn't seem to ring true anymore. Everything was still a little hard to believe. Now you left waiting, aimlessly standing around, hoping to find the answer to the endless evergreen towering over you. Instead of pondering about all the possible what-ifs, you decide to join her in her solitude. Blaming yourself wasn't going to do any good now. Screenshot. What? Oh, stream elements. I apologize for missing out on the previous stream. Yeah, it's okay, don't worry. I didn't know your dad would do that. It's not like anyone would hear about that. I just wish I could have done something. Instead of telling me hang out in your place all the time. Yeah. For how long that worked out. Well, that wasn't your fault. It was good for the most part. Asta was a good enough excuse. Don't call her that. Sorry. She does like me, doesn't she? She does. She talks about you a lot. See? It wasn't even a lie, really. I like spending time with her more than you, honestly. Why is that? Annie shrugged. She's pretty cute. Hey now. Not cuter than me, of course. That's not what I was saying. Mischievous chuckle escaped Annie's lips, quickly suffocated by the sullen mood. How were you after you left school? Annie worded this blatantly in her favor, as if it were out of your own volition to suddenly drop out of school. This wasn't exactly something you wanted to talk about at this very moment, as it seemed of little practicality, but at least gave her credit for caring. How do you expect? Barely left my bed. Only go downstairs for meals. Then I would hardly eat a thing before going back to my room. That's quite of an interesting story. Yeah, very interesting. In the last room, there was like a ton of screaming and arguing. And my throat got like really tired. Thankfully, this route will probably have less screaming and crying and arguing. One day at Dad No wait. One day at dinner, Dad told me that I should find a job and move out if I'm not going back to school. After that, I shut myself in. Mom even started bringing me meals up when I was sleeping. Not much more to it. Annie bit her lip, probably regretting having brought that up. Sorry, didn't mean for that to happen. It's whatever, I don't care about that anymore. Just sucks you blew up like that. Sorry. Do you remember when I told you that my dad found out about us? Every teenage secret gets busted eventually. So did yours when Annie came to you one night crying and distraught about a recent fight with her dad. Must have found out about you two one way or the other. She said he was angry at her, and by proxy at you. Annie refused to break up though. She said she could handle it. She might have been able to handle her dad. You not so much. Annie was still his daughter, so to say. She'd still receive his grace when you were the bad boyfriend, filling her head with all sorts of twisted ideas. Feeling like you had it under the nape of your neck, watching your every move, took quite a toll on you. You felt guilty. For a good reason. After that, you started drifting apart little by little. Yeah. Did you do something? No, I mean... Of course he was angry, but he never acted on anything. Feels like he was stretching it out, waiting for something for me to mess up. Then you just started ignoring me. I didn't ignore you. You're always busy. Couldn't come to you with anything anymore. Felt like you just forgot about me. Is that really why you did it? Maybe I was just jealous. Is that what you want to hear? And as soon as she seemed to be getting somewhere, she shut herself down again. Annie was rarely ever honest with her feelings, always tried to escalate and wrote everything out of proportion rather than getting to the root of the problem. It is fine by you, considering you really rather not talk about this right now, if it were up to you, all those memories would be buried 6 feet underneath the ground. Everything that Annie was making a big deal out of was in reality much smaller than what she herself pulled off a few weeks ago. Nothing she would say or do could justify that for you. Of course you felt bad for her. She never told you anything about her dad. How are you supposed to help her if she didn't tell you? Yet you also realized that anything other than apologizing would add fuel to the fire, and nothing good would come out of fighting now. You sure know all about that, Oliver, right? Considering the refuse route. Ah! Your half-hearted apology got interrupted by frantic banging from inside the trunk. Holy shit. Annie brought down her fist on the car. Hard. Small dent appeared in the place of her fist. You jump at her sudden movement. Yeah, we're talking about you! Maybe he wants to say something? Like what? I don't know. Something about his hidden task that will give us if we let him go. Yeah, bullshit. I don't want to hear anything from him anymore. Besides, it's a little late for that. Still have all the tasks he saved up and hid around the house. Which was? Annie opens her bag and it's filled to the brim with task stats held together by rubber bands. You see something shining hidden underneath all the stats, but Annie is too quick to close it for you to get a good look. Don't know. Not gonna ask either. Seems like enough. Yeesh, that's a lot. It's true that he was stupid enough to never trust banks. A swear creeps up on your lips. You'd quickly wipe it off. There isn't really anything amusing about this situation. The fact that Annie was level-headed enough to grab the cash while running out of the house kinda creeps you out. That's good and all, but maybe just go away if you let him go. Freetown. Whose side are you on here? If you are eager to hear from him, go ahead, open it. I guarantee you nothing of value will come out of his mouth. Annie was losing her temper with you. It's probably best to let it rest now. Since you recognize that you two are at some fault for this situation. At least if Annie versus of the story. No, it's whatever. Help you. Thank you, Ollie. Yeah, spare for later. So, what do we do? Just knock him out and leave him to the animals? That's a bad idea. Let me drive the car with him over some cliff. We're near the ocean. Maybe just drawn to an accident in a drunk haze. For that, we need to pull him up to the driver's seat, though. If we leave him there, we might as well hand ourselves in. Yeah. Even if, he still has a head injury. What about it? Could have hit his head on some rocks. They're suspicious but no evidence. They're left to suggest someone in the woods attacked him or something. Not someone being us. No one knows that. What about your mom? Mom will probably suspect me. She always does. She's not home this weekend. No one knows, no one cares where I am right now. She can't prove anything. Won't she talk to you about it? What'll you say? I'll make something up. See if she comes home to start looking for him, though. How long will it take for them to find him? Annie shrugs nonchalantly. We are pretty far out. But they always investigate the waters. We're sure someone walking by the shore will notice a car floating in the water as well. The car will sink eventually, you know that, right? Doesn't just float. Okay, yeah, but what if... God, can you stop making it so difficult? I'm difficult. Shouldn't you know how to do this? You know what I mean. You've been doing your research. Oh no, I think the screen is frozen. Oh no. Oh no, the screen is actually frozen. Oh no. On my tablet. I'm watching chat on my tablet. Wait a minute. Usually... Oh. Well, that fixed it. Back to visual novel. Annie narrows her eyes. Forget it. I'm just making shit up. No, elaborate. Yeah. I'll pretend you didn't say that. Right. I think I know a spot that leads towards the cliff's edge here, actually. Eh? From what? No, wait! No, wait, I doubt that. I think I know a spot that leads towards the cliff's edge here, actually. Eh? From what? Dodge underwear once or twice. Oh. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah. With friends, it was a hangout spot. Uh-huh. Really? Yeah, sure. I believe you. You roll your eyes at her and start heading back to the car. No, wait. Oh, right. Do you both notice the inevitable? You need to knock him out again. There's no way he'll just double on with you two, pulling him to the driver's seat conscious with the way he's already squealing like a pig. If you show your face in front of him again, he might just rip that tape around his wrist and beat your face to a pulp. Does your dad have anything useful in his car? Dunno. Should be a big rot somewhere out here. Just need to knock him out, not kill him. Why do we need to do this now? Not driving around with him thrashing in there. It's going to drive me mad. I'll look if there's anything of use in the back. You just keep watch. The backseat was big, but it was crowded with many years' worth of accumulated junk. Old batteries, bunch of tables, empty bottles and beer cans, an ice scraper, spare tire, a folded tent, and more. Within the rubble you can make out a piece of metal. Pulling it out, you find it to be a crowbar. Wait, a crowbar? What's Dad got a crowbar in his car for? Actually, you don't want to know. It's blunt object. Should do fine giving him one over the head. Take that with you before slamming the door shut. Annie looks at you expectantly. You lift the crowbar up. While her expression remains uneasy, she nods. That out of the way, your adapter was clear. Still, your stomach drops as you grip the cold iron, trying to slip out of your sweaty hands. I can do it. You don't have to do that. While it was nice of her to offer herself up, for some reason you didn't quite trust Annie with the task at hand. Maybe it was her shaking hands or the uncertainty in her face that told you she was too unstable to be trusted with this task. She'd flail out and then you'd be left to clean up the mess. Shook her head. I'll do it. You turn around. No, I said I'll do it. Annie's eyes widened. Tell by her reaction that she was just a little scared of you. Well, that wasn't fair. You were doing her a favor. Let me do this for you, okay? She shuffled her feet. Clearly unnerved, but without another argument, she nodded and turned around. Guess you already agreed. There's no backing out now. You opened the trunk and faced Daniel, now fully awake and aware. This very moment, you're glad that his dreams are muffled by the tape over his mouth. And even through that, they sound absolutely livid. Sid thought maybe you should have convinced her. Maybe you would have put up a fight even, let the more cowardly side of yourself win. Maybe then you're too impressed would have been giving you such a headache. This is what it is, you tried to reason. If it were for him and the things you put into your head, the gnawing doubt, the secrecy and missed phone calls, the shadable fear of everything as you know it being destroyed by a single sentence, would never have come to this. But maybe Annie would have finished the job instead. As you grip the handle, you think that waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel must be more unbearable than the thought that the end is there at all. Or maybe all a man can feel... No, wait. Or maybe all a man like him can feel is hate. Nothing but anger to his skin is seething eyes staring right back at you. Despite yourself, what type of scenario are you getting into? We're killing Annie's shit, Dad. And when I say shit, I mean shit. I mean he sexually abused her and groomed her. And there was another third thing, but I forgot about that. So believe me when I say this, we should be killing Annie's dad. We should be killing this like... We should have done this like, what? Years ago. We should have done this years ago is what I'm trying to say. Well, things don't 1 to 100 real quick. Do you not watch the original Joyride to Hell stream? You did, right? You remember, right? You remember the content warnings I gave? Right? Despite yourself, you adjust your grip on the handle and your hover hand joins it first. Take one deep breath. Lift the crowbar. Oh my god, I need to screenshot that! I need to screenshot that! Wait. Okay. You take a moment to catch your breath and slam the trunk shut. Still gripping the iron, you notice your hands trembling a little. You decide not to give it too much thought. Oh, drive us to the cliff. A cold sweat on your body starts to stick to your shirt and you shiver under the frigid air, despite your jacket weighing heavy on your shoulders. You tread toward the car, awaiting an answer from Annie all the while. There are no footsteps behind you to be heard. Annie doesn't follow. Her face was plainly abject with tear. I did, but I stopped it off. You don't just stop something like that off! There was, like, grooming. I told you there was grooming and sexual abuse in this game. You don't just hear that when you watch someone stream and go, oh no, probably... It'll be fine. Ah! Mosquito! Ugh. Now I need to wash my hands. I'll be right back, folks. I'm back! He didn't understand why. Why was she scared of you? He took a careful step towards her, but Annie yells as she bats off. For some strange reason, annoyance slips its way into your mind. What do you do? What do you mean? I knocked him out like we said we'd do. Oh God, I seem to be sick. Annie stumbles back and covers his mouth with her hand, breathing heavily, almost heaving. Ew, what's wrong? This was all a bad idea. We did this. Go home. I don't want to do this anymore. Wait, what? My mom will look for them and they'll find him and... Oh God. If they find us, just lie. You're good at that. She'll never believe me. No one will. Oh, come clean. Tell the police what happened. Annie, you can't exactly back out of this now. You motion to the crowbar in your hand, which has a few stats of blood on it. Red fluid shines in the reflector's light to the car. What if she was the one to tell you as soon as you got home? Ada was so absorbed to her mom about her evil boyfriend wanting to take her away. Annie changed her minds about things as often as the tides turn. I can, I should, it's the right thing to do. Lying is a sin, Dad always taught me. Okay, I want to talk about this scene really quick. Because Mr. Todsworth brought up a very good point, because in the other route, the refuse route, Annie was the one to kill Daniel, that fucker. It's like a Doti Doti Literature Club strain. They show a warning at first, but next hour later I saw someone hanging. Well, at least you don't see anyone hanging in this game. Or at least you don't see Daniel, that fucker's bloody corpse or something. It's not actually shown on screen. So, I guess that's good. I want to talk about this scene real quick, because no, wait. What was the name of the ending again? I'll just say the refuse route. The refuse route, the R route, and Annie was the one to kill Daniel. So, but in the accept route, we were the one to kill Daniel. So, and Annie and Daniel had like a huge fight, and there was like, not screaming, yelling. And Annie, because Annie was the one to told with Daniel, she saw that he wasn't worthy of redemption. But we don't get that last resolution in the accept route. Because we have to remember that Daniel was grooming Annie. That thing happens over the course of years. So, even if you do want, for example, even if I wanted to kill my dad, after I did, I would probably freak out or something, right? Because it's like they always teach you that you should always respect your parents in both Christianity and Islam. So if I did that, I'm going to be freaking my shit, because oh my god, I just killed my dad. Oh no. I'm gonna go to hell now. Right. So it's the same with Annie here, right? Yeah, right. Why do you suddenly care about what he has to say? What he did was a sin too. But I don't want him to die! What the hell do you mean? A minute ago you were practically begging me to kill him for you. And now? I don't know what I was thinking! He hurt you. He nearly choked you to death and you want to protect him over me? So I'm just saying, if I had surprised that things had go to 1 to 100 real quick. Yeah. I mean, you really should have listened to the warnings at first, man. If you didn't want to see grooming and sexual abuse in your visual novel, then you probably should have listened to the warnings. Actually, you're still here, so you're probably not going to... I mean, you can leave if you want. If you're uncomfortable, you can totally leave if you want. After all, the subject matter of this game is pretty dark. So, you know, take care of yourself. Maybe grab a glass of water. Maybe watch a movie. Something. I mean, if you still want to say, that's totally fine too. I'm not like kicking you out or anything, but I'm also not forcing you to stay, you know? Anyway, but he's always been there for me when no one else was. He wasn't bad. Annie trails off, frantically looking around herself. Looked at Annie to try and see what she sees, to understand what was going through her mind in this very moment. It's not that uncomfortable, it's just surprise. I was thinking it was that because you looked at Annie, tried to see what she sees, to understand what was going through her mind in this very moment. But you just don't get it. You want to grab her by the shoulders and shake her body so her brain is set right, for her to stop spewing her emotional nonsense. But you are better than him. You will not yell at Annie. You maintain your composure, despite your boiling, but I'm a mod, so I got to observe the stream. Oh yeah! You're like the only moderator here. Other than Soraya, but she rarely shows up anymore. Soraya. You maintain your composure, despite your blood-boiling blisters on your skin. She wasn't dumb, but short-sighted. If you left it all to her, both of you will definitely get caught. Do you want me to go to prison? Start it? How about you tell them it was all my idea? You'll get off scot-free. If you're only 17, the law really plays in your favor. Annie stares at you, dumbstruck, or frantic panic quickly replaced by a dooming sense of fear. Starts shaking her head in a frenzy, as refusing to acknowledge what you just said. I don't want that! I don't want that! I don't want to be alone! That's what it's sounding like. No, If you tell on yourself, you tell on me. Aster knows I ran out the door to see you. It was what I mean after all. No one but you wants to see me anymore. I'm sorry. As soon as the first saw bleeds Annie's off, you catch her by his shoulders, plunk her in. Right in the nick of time. Hey, it won't come to that. It'll be fine. Okay, I need to screenshot this too. I've been screenshotting a lot. Okay, done. Just need you to listen to me. I know you're scared, but we're in this together now. So if in case anyone wants to harass you, I just not to ban them. Yeah, I get it. To be fair, I'm like really underground, so... In order for me to help you, you have to cooperate. Annie looked at you like a deer in the headlights, reflector lights shining upon its features in a godly premonition, one blink away from death. And you knew that absolutely nothing of what you said has reached her ears. It was you who came up with this, because you want to do this. I don't want us to go to jail. Oh, no, wait, let me read the dialogue real quick. I don't want us to go to jail. This is really bad, only this. He was bad. He hurt you. I would never hurt you. You hear, Annie? Yeah. Very believable, Oliver. Annie gulped uncomfortably. No, but this is murder. The grip on Annie's shoulders was becoming harder to control with every word she spoke. No, you're not listening. Listen to me. When have I ever tried to hurt you? It was a lot of times, man. It was a simple question, spoken calmly and clearly. It caused her to actually think about what you just asked, formulate an answer, and get her head out of the hysteria it jammed itself in. Ever? Where am I through? Okay, that's done. Sounds very manipulative. In this case, Oliver, you're off the hook. Okay, no, hear me out. Oliver manipulating Annie is usually very bad, but in this case, with Annie going to hysterics and trying to go home and go tell the police or something, this is actually the good thing to do in this scenario. Okay, the when have I ever hurt you thing was not. It wasn't, but in this case. It hurts me to say this as much as it hurts for you to hear this, considering how I usually hate on Oliver pretty often, but it was the right thing to do in this scenario. And why is there something red on... Oh, that's red on my screen. Oh. Because if Oliver didn't do what he did, then Annie was going to like run away, go into town, go to the police station, saying that she killed her Christian dad. And then either she would go to jail or Oliver would go to jail. Which is really not favorable. I know what you're thinking, Enzo Doodle. I know what you're thinking. I'm not an Oliver apologist. I swear! Anyway, back to visual novel. Right. I'm trying to help you. So help me make this work, please. What do you say your story was? Repeat it to me. Todd Trunk and drove off the cliff. Ugh. called me because you were worried. Everything is fine. Annie's shoulders slumped down the tiniest inch, a hint of relief setting into her. Without a heavy exhale, it stayed to your nose and hoped that you finally meant to turn around to go with the plan she made. Well, what about you? Won't your family wonder where you've been? I don't think anyone cares where I went. I knew it! You let go of her, Annie having seemingly regained both her common sense and her composure. She doesn't face you, only looking at the floor, almost looking a little defeated. The truth hurts, you suppose. She had to hear it from someone. You're with me now, got it? We don't need him. We'll figure it out ourselves. Okay. Will you follow me to the car now? Before something or someone catches to us? Annie doesn't say anything. She simply nods reluctantly. You hear soft footsteps following after you. With your back turned to her, it was almost as if Annie didn't exist, that the situation wasn't real. It's always a little too easy to forget about her. Annie never had a big presence about herself. Her footsteps trained lightly so as to not disturb anyone, walking behind rather than beside you, or like a domino whenever someone pushed out of the way. Her demeanor never quite matched her crass words. It was hard to tell which of the two was the real Annie. She never changed much. She was still the clumsy, indecisive girl she had always been, stumbling over her feet as she did with her words. That's why you loved her. She was a constant in your life, never changing. No matter the truth, Annie loved you. You're sure of that. And so Annie would follow as you lead. It had always been that way. Flashback time! As you step out of class into the schoolyard, you see Annie, patiently awaiting you. You promised to meet her today. Shit, you don't remember. Hey, Annie. Why did you ditch me? Now you had to go to church yesterday. I was helping my dad. I saw you with Walter. That's right. Last Saturday, Annie had asked you if she could sleep over at your place. Oh, sleepovers were never a good idea. It came with too many questions and too many worries about what lie Annie had told her dad this time to allow her out of after 9 p.m. At the time, it seemed easier to pretend to be preoccupied with boring family matters. If you're secretly meeting up with someone, maybe don't do it so public next time. You wanted to slap yourself for being so dense. Adding dumb wasn't gonna save you now. So we can't have any of her friends anymore? What? That's not what I'm saying. Why weren't you honest with me? You can hang out with other people. I just thought you'd get up in your head about it. Which I was right about. I'm not. I don't care. You just said you'd rather hang out with him than me. Just already said I'd go watch a game with him. One of his friends was playing. That's fine. Just don't want to be lied to. Okay, I'm sorry. Won't happen again. You always say that. Hey now, you don't lie to me sometimes either. Yeah. Hey, lovebirds! Suddenly a cheerful voice ran over. Hi, Walter! Screenshot? You turned your head, and there he was. Speak to the devil. Oh, aren't you too cute? How about you kiss for the camera? Walter made a frame with his fingers and posed in front of you as if you were a photographer, even with a playful shove as he continues to grin at you. Cut it out, asshole! Annie didn't seem too pleased with your sudden company. Don't you have to go iron your boxers or something? Walter squinted his eyes as he continued to smile down upon Annie. Oh wow, what a warm welcome. Hello to you too, Annabelle. Annie had no interest in greeting Walter. They were a little nod. No need to be so rude. Hi. Oh, so... No, wait, Why am I adding "oh" at the start of everything? Does Walter just do that now? What are the lovebirds doing? Just talking. About... You open your mouth when you speak for Annie to toss a scene before she put in work before you did. On Oliver's church duties. How boring. Don't you ever get sick of being so prim and proper? It's impossible to hang out with you, princess. You know I don't have a choice. Yeah, you do. Just say no instead of, oh Father, lecture me some more, and while thou start at it, allow me to shove the Bible up my ass. Did I have to say that in a British accent? I just said that in a British accent. Annie frowned. One of the many reasons why she disliked Walter was because of his blatant, so-called blasphemy. Although he was just joking, it always made her uncomfortable. You found it funny. I don't think your mom would like to hear you say that. As if you care. So, what do you want? Can I just come to enjoy your company? Make a third wheel my way along the trip to the diner and watch you make out as I eat some sad, lonely, salty fries? Quit your whining, I know you want something. Alright, let me make this quick. I wanted to talk to you about something. Can I steal your boyfriend away for a minute? He motioned towards you, but Annie stepped in front, blocking Walter's way. Just say it! Whatever you want to tell him, will tell me later anyway. That's so. How much do you even know about him? I know plenty! I mean, you didn't know that he still has 4 of his baby teeth. I know that. Do you know that when he was a kid, he couldn't differentiate between the letters B and D? Yeah, and it took him ages to learn how to read. Annie looked over to in awe, as if this was a vital piece of information you withheld from her. In reality, it was nothing but embarrassing. There was a reason, plain as day, that you never told her about this. Wait, really? Yeah, my dad says he What were you going to say, huh? Staying ridiculous. Will you two grow up? Well, I'm not the one starting an argument here. Talk to your girlfriend. You shoot Annie a serious look. A warning, perhaps. Things always escalated between Walter and her, and it was starting to become really bothersome. You just want your two closest, and dare say only friends, to get along. She wasn't even putting any effort to pretend like him. Annie bit her lip nervously. Sorry. By the way, I saw your science project. Not half bad. Thanks. You know, if you actually attended class, you might have decent grades. Better than Oliver's, at least. Annie scoffed. Who are you, my mom? It's a well-meant observation. And tell your asshole friends to stop laughing every time I talk. Right. Sure got more mouthy ever since spending time with Oliver. What do you do to her, huh? I don't do nothing. No, really. And tell me later when God's not listening in. After getting nothing but a glare from Annie, Walter huffed. Come on, don't look so grumpy. I give you a compliment. In turn, Annie grimaced a smile. She was making absolutely no effort to hide her distaste for him. Is she always like this? I'm right here! Then speak when I'm talking to you. Don't think this your daddy's a... No, wait. Don't think this here's your daddy's a daughter you have authority to tell me to do jack shit. Oh, I don't think you, of all people, should be speaking out other people's fathers. Excuse me? Oh, my bad. I wouldn't want to come to school again to teach you a lesson. Okay, this is escalating quickly. Walter, whatever it is, just tell me later, okay? Fine. As he turned away to leave you both to your bickering, he tilted his head to shoot you another glare. Then I'll see you at school tomorrow. Or not, depending on what you feel like, But Sally was addressing Annie specifically. You rested your hand on the small of her bat for comfort. Sometimes the bully needs to hold her bat as if she were a leash dog. You don't have to be so hostile around him. I don't like it when he talks about my dad. I mean, Dad is a little much sometimes. He's just worried. He does a lot of cool stuff with me. Like, he lets me watch movies that Mom doesn't, and we order pizza like every week. See? See here. It's a grooming. You lure them in with you lure them in with things you lure them in with good things. For example, letting Annie watch movies that her mother doesn't, and ordering pizza every week. See, that's how grooming works. You do good things to make them think you're cool, and then you pull the abuse shit. That's how. So that's why they stay. So that way they don't just up and leave, because you've been so nice to them all this time. Anyway, tangent over. Doesn't mind if I stretch sometimes either. He's pretty okay. You shrug. That does sound pretty good. Definitely better than having a preacher as your dad. Annie smiled as she talked about him, and you took that as a good sign. Walter doesn't know what he's talking about. All his parents care about is his grades. When you hang out with him, he's so snobby. He's different outside of school. Yeah, does he has an image you want to hold? What do you mean? So you don't think that it's weird how he only talks to you when no one's around? You're around. Okay, let me go to preferences again. How long do we need to do this for again? I don't count. Well, whatever. He's just busy. Besides, you don't like anyone. Don't be surprised that nobody wants to hang out with you if you pull a face every time you did approach. That's not true. It is. You did frown wrinkles. Ugh. I'm leaving. Have fun with Walter later. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. See you. With that, Annie stormed off, her lips in a pout and her feet stomping the ground. In her hurry, she left her notebook sitting on the stairway. What a scatterbrain. She's already out of sight, so there's no use yelling after her. He wouldn't run, that's for sure. Yes, you'll just have to take it home with you and dangle in front of her nose tomorrow morning. That way she at least needs to come to school. Annie carried this thing around with her everywhere. It was clearly important to her. It wasn't even a fancy diary. It was a simple college notebook. Instead of taking notes during class, she probably wrote this thing the whole time. You knew it wasn't the right thing to do, but the temptation of it was simply too big. A little Pete wouldn't hurt, right? There were a handful of pages of Annie's complaints about various teachers and students, calling them colorful words that you're not sure the Bible would approve of. Her words were contrasted by little sketches of various animals and flowery adornments. You flipped the pages with glee, only feeling a little bad for this invasion of her privacy. For sure Annie didn't mind. Just like she said, there was nothing in here that she didn't already tell you. You flipped the page. hair looked nice today. I wish Holly noticed. I wanted to say I looked cute. Oh no, wait. Let's go back. Mike pulled on my ponytail in PE again. He's such an asshole and no one says anything. But Dad said he'll take me to the movies on Saturday. Not one small movie theater, but the big one in the city. No, wait. Not a small movie theater, but the big one in the city. I want new shoes. Yo! The next day you returned Annie's diary. With oh so many questions if you looked inside, and if you did, she'd find out, so you better fess up. Of course you didn't look in, being the loving boyfriend you are. Despite one of Annie's many rules that said her place was off limits for visitation, there was one instance where you decided to break that rule. Not a doorstep rather often, bring other things you forgot at your place at instead for your sister. Her dad would always be there to accept her belongings before you did set foot in. Sometimes you'd catch a glimpse of her home as a small lit slit by the door which wasn't obscured by his large figure. During last winter, near the Christmas holidays, Annie stayed home sick from school. She, probably only at the reverends of her dad, asked you bring the sweets homeward to her place. As your fist hovered over the wooden door, you noticed that the red Delta was nowhere to be found. The driver stood empty. Mother was out this week, so it could only mean her dad was out as well. Like a teenager, excited to finally have some time alone with his girlfriend in a house devoid of parents, you turned a knob and set foot into her home. Albeit not the reasons one might think. There was little interest in getting close to Annie's snot-nosed face, and more to finally know what was behind the door she always shut so tightly. As your deduction had predicted, he wasn't home. And it was a relatively normal, if not a bit messy, household. It made you just the tiniest bit disappointed. You also relieved that there was nothing nightmarish that Annie didn't want you to see. First thing you noticed was how it smelled. Walter's house always felt comforting, like the beams of sunlight hitting his soft bed through large overlooking windows, like the warm home-cooked meal he ate with his mom, his dad, his aunt, his grandparents at him at the table. But also the tiniest bit clinical, like carpet cleaner and laundry disinfectant. Annie's home smelled stuffy, except the windows weren't open very often, almost a bit like a locker room. It smelled like when you hid your head under the heavy covers that blocked out the outside world. Okay, I want to talk about this after stream. So please remind me to talk about this. I think the smells are actually very good symbolism here. And I'll talk about that more later. But you know the bad stories of Annie and Walter, then the smells are like... Then the smells, when you think about it, the smells are very linked to that. Anyway, Annie had not yelled out to her surprise visitor yet, so either she must be sleeping or listening to music. Make sure not to make any noise when you advance and shut the door behind you, so as to not be caught in your sudden intrusion. There was a brown leather couch on the right. In front of it, a TV that's on a sideboard in the living room. It was adjacent to an open kitchen where a few dishes were piled up. There at the fridge with lots of photos and notes on it, and wonder how appropriate it is to look inside. Such a blonde health class teacher always said a person's fridge is a window to one lifestyle. Well dramatic, it held some truth. Side to open the fridge to find it mostly barren, aside from the bare necessities like toast and some ham. There were some cucumbers in the compartments and spare tomatoes, one of which already had a suspicious-looking white spot on it. The top was filled with various beverages and soda pop. In the middle of it lay a small plate of cocktails, like prepared by none other than Annie herself. Near that was a small pantry with lots of cans and other conservatives. Bot's mac and cheese. Oh, now I want mac and cheese. I've been aching for mac and cheese lately. And hot dogs. Like the hot dogs from IKEA. All the other hot dogs suck ass. Like, actually. The hot dogs right here are the only good hot dogs I've ever had in my life. And hot dogs and macaroni and cheese are a really good meal, right? Right? They were perfectly together. You can't blame me when I want macaroni and cheese and hot dogs from IKEA. And even if I wanted hot dogs somewhere other than IKEA, guess what? They're like the only place that sells hot dogs in Malaysia. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. Look. I haven't. You know how there are like those vendors in America with like the fast foods and such, and they usually sell hot dogs there, right? Well, here in Malaysia, they don't do that at all really. Which is honestly pretty sad. I mean, yeah, the state of America now is pretty sad, but they still have hot dogs. Oh god, this sounds so funny when I say it out loud, because I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean Trump wants you all dead? You still have hot dogs! You still have hot dogs, so you don't get to say anything! Doesn't that sound so stupid? And Pop-Tarts, cereal boxes, and all that junk. A thin layer of dust settled on a small shelf that led further towards the bedrooms, stacked with various trinkets, mostly model figures of racing cars and empty cans and bottles alike. As you went along the small hallway, you finally, inevitably, found what you were looking for. The reason why Annie didn't want any visitors. Oh my god. I want to talk about this. Oh, hi Ollie. Don't worry about the door, it's broken. Dad will fix it soon. Annie's room didn't have a door. I want to talk about this. So, like, Annie's room not having a door. This is like not the number one sign of abuse, but it is a major sign of abuse. Because not having a door. The reason why doors have been implemented in houses is for, like, privacy, right? So considering Annie's dad, like, taking the door off its hinges and not giving her like a curtain or anything, they don't do it for your own good. They do it. If they were going to fix it, they should have fixed it a long time ago. They don't. They want to always have access to your room. They always want to have access to you. So Oh hey, look at that plushie there. Look at it. Well, that's BS. Oh, because surely you know all about this, right? Oh, surely your parents are just... You don't You don't just get to say everything is... You don't just get to say something like this is bullshit. Because... it has been proven time and time again. God, you're just like him, aren't you? Inman mounted off, the hinges hanging empty on the wall. She spoke without being asked. You had hoped that she was right. Question it! You could only hope. Question it! Ah! The drive to the lift goes by without anyone uttering so much as a word. There is nothing left to say. Once you know something halfway. Oh no, wait, I wanna talk about something. So, if you notice that it's so nice here, why you never take me here? I guess I never thought of it. If you watched the stream, yesterday, you would have noticed that there's like narration interspersed between the dialogue between Annie and Oliver here, talking about how this was the only place that Oliver could be himself, and now that too was sullied. So, but here's the thing, there's none of that over here. I don't know where I was going with this. Annie chuckled sullenly. You were never much of a romantic. Still have time to learn. Uh-huh. Well, that's interesting. Uh-huh. Annie shuffled with her feet, her eyes nervously darting back and forth between the car and the woods you emerged from. Slowly but surely, you were growing impatient with her. You could tell she wasn't entirely convinced to go through with this. She's trying to leave herself an open back door, an escape plan. Maybe she just needed a little push. I lied out there by the car. No, wait. I lied out there by the car. About my dad. He wants to send me away. What? Where to? Heard him talking about it. Wants to sign me up for somewhere for troubled youth. Like a boarding school? No, more like a program for people like me. Annie's eyes widened. Oh, You know what they'll do to me there? Annie felt mute. Quite glad for it. No, this was true after all. But your father didn't even deem you worthy of fixing. It's not you wish it were, far from it, yet the trust remains. Why doesn't he? If it is fate for you deem such a thing possible, why not for you? Perhaps you were a lost cause, doomed to forever burn in the depths of hell. The thought wasn't any less depressing. I can't go back, Annie. Do you understand? It's just a little white lie, to make sure she doesn't change her mind again. I'm sorry. I understand. I don't think that's the right to do either. She had trouble finding her words, but given the situation, you were surprised Annie met it with as compassion as she did. I didn't mean for that to happen. But Walter didn't do anything. We didn't talk about it. There's nothing to talk about. Whatever you say. That wasn't his fault. For all you know, they heard the same story Annie told loud and proud to the whole school. It wasn't a secret anymore. Can you help me now to lift him out of there? Annie's answer to your non-question was written plainly over her face. You'd have been a little space to dead now. As Annie was busy twiddling her thumbs, you slid back onto the driver's seat, driving the car towards the cliff's edge, stopping just before it plummeted down into the ocean. You walked back towards her, opened the trunk without a number word, and turned her head. There was no need to discuss what to do next. And then you it took considerable lolling back and forth and tinted out of a puppet. You suddenly became extremely aware that he was in fact still alive and might wake up at any given moment. You didn't want to test your luck. You'd only hope by the time they find him the spare blotches of blood in the trunk would no longer be visible. Once you positioned him and made sure to take the crowbar out of the front seat, the line behind the car did with a final push. One good shove, followed by a split second of silence. When that the deed was done. Let me drink some water real quick. Maybe because you were too trusting. Or maybe because he just didn't seem like the type. Whatever that meant. Eventually, the illusion shatters and all you're left with is the mundane truth. A grim reminder of what people are capable of. It's never meant to find out. Did when all of it that still happened? It's never met her. Glance over to judge Annie's reaction. Sorrow rained down on her like a summer storm. She was almost relieved by the immediacy and intensity of it. As long as she could cry, you were sure that she was normal. She felt something along the lines of remorse and guilt. Thoughts in your head that all jumbled up while you tried to figure out the right thing to say. There'd even be anything appropriate in this situation. That you only open and close your mouth a few times, only want to find the words. Frail hand that's pressing on her back, trying to slow emotions up and down in an attempt to be comforting. All you watch as Annie's thoughts turn to hoarse and pathetic. She slunk bound by the side. Traces her head and looks at you with teary eyes that would test on her mind. Who do you think will die? Well, he'll probably drown now. The water will deaden his lungs where he waits out, I think. So he'll stay unconscious? Well, a little bit of suffering won't hurt him, don't you think? I don't know. He was an asshole. He'll be burned in hell. As the last word left your mouth, you start to regret what you just said. Annie froze up, clearly uneasy with your choice of words. Do you want to sit down now? Must be tired. I know I am. She made a small reassuring noise. Annie walked forward, getting dangerously close to the edge of the cliff. They almost feared she was trying to join her dad for a plunge. Luckily she only did so to look downward and observe the waves. She sat down, her legs dangling off the cliff, head hung low. Fall after her, taking off your jacket to gently put it over her shoulders, lets her crane her head back and give you a shy smile. Seat yourself next to her while your eyes set on the ocean in front of you. The moon hung high upon its waters, its reflection shining brightly. Annie rests her heavy head against your shoulder, leaving into you. Do you think Dawn will forgive me? I think so. No, say what you really think. Be honest. I don't think Dawn gives a shit about any of us. He's probably just up there pointing and laughing at us from his ivory tower. Annie stares off into the distance, fiddling with the laces of her dirty white sneakers. Did his shirt have a collar? There is a collar! But he isn't wearing a shirt with a collar, right? I always thought it was stupid how much she believed in all that. You can't blame her for being raised that way. The entire town was. It's easier to grow sick of it all when you hear about goddess rules every day instead of once a week. For her sake, you decide to play the part. Is there something you'd like to get out of your chest, little lady? Confess your sins. It's between us and God. Oh. Well, dear father, I've committed the sin of murder, and there God will send me to hell. What a predicament, young lady. You take your time, pretending to weigh her wrongs and rights. Thou shalt not kill does not apply in the case of being a piece of shit on behalf of the murdered. I, as the son of our appointed pastor, have hereby forgiven your sins. Annie smiles sadly, even if only to amuse your efforts. Sad how it works? Sure it is. It's all made up anyway. I can make up my own rules. You're almost certain that Annie didn't buy into it. She will likely forever be stuck in her ways, as were you. At the very least she stopped sulking, and that was enough for you. Hey, Zolly. I don't think you're going to the same place as him anyway, remember? At first she looked a little confused about what exactly we're getting at. Slowly clicked in her mind as the second passed. She let out a soft chuckle. Right, I'm too pretty for hell. You weren't sure if she made it up herself or picked it up from somewhere, but it quickly became a joke between the two of you that every time Annie didn't want to do something, she was simply too pretty for it. Too pretty to bring out the trash, to do the dishes, to do homework. The more often she said it, the more ridiculous it became, and she started saying it to just about anything. Although today she didn't sound very enthusiastic about it. You got it. Annie let out a weak sigh, her way of telling you to ask her what's on her mind. In the years you have learned all of her little quirks. Something wrong? Mom always said I'm lucky that I was born pretty. At least I wasn't fat, didn't have acne or braces or glasses. Either case, I at least have a reason to get bullied, right? Oh my god, your PNG is so cute. Oh, thank you! Cyberzon! The first time you showed up to a Joyride to Hell stream. Oh, I thought for a minute that the internet got out. Oh, we are reading Joyride to Hell today. And I'm going to give you the content warnings real quick. This visual novel deals with got no clue what Joyride to Hell is, but I enjoy this. Yes, thank you. I'm going to read the content warnings real quick. This visual novel contains grooming, sexual Sexual abuse or assault? Sexual assault? Depression? Self-harm. Yes, self-harm. Self-harm. This visual novel contains all these things, and if you don't want to see that, you should probably leave, Cyber-san. At least he wasn't bad. He didn't have acne or braces or glasses. If that were the case, I'd at least have a reason to get bullied, right? She said it was not all my fault. They didn't try hard enough. He would still have a chance to marry rich, she said. I needed to before I get old. Sometimes I wonder if I looked different if he had still done it. Gotcha! Thanks for the warning, I can handle this. Yay! You're welcome. I don't know. Probably would've. Said more about feeling powerful than anything else. Annie takes a moment to weigh her words. I suppose. Seeing you feel a little better. Not that it happened, but I don't know. That it wasn't my fault. You did the right thing. If you ever left, you likely would have just done the same to some other girl. It wasn't always bad, you know. All the ones before him didn't care about me. He only had Mom and she was never there. If I told anyone, he'd have to leave. We really wanted him to stay the way he used to be. Everything that Annie was saying felt contradictory to you, but somehow it made sense. You can see the effects right here. Knowing you probably never will, never even could in the first place, no matter how much you want to, understand how Annie feels about Daniel. Only that one conspired bad at her home must have derailed to an extent that she herself never expected, caused her to act in a way she never would have otherwise. Just after sitting together, you're not saying anything, just looking at Annie and never really seeing her either. You can barely hear her breathe over the sound of the ocean, softly in and out. Your eyes were heavy, too heavy, alongside your weary bones and tight muscles. Close your eyes, letting the wind slowly to sleep as the exhaustion finally settles over you. Things are these so easy for sometimes. If only you could always find the right words. If only she was a little easier to figure out, short on her words, maybe a little taller, less complaining, less whining. It's always causing trouble, always drawing into herself as if she couldn't live without it. Walter never complained. Well, almost. He only ever complained about Annie. After class, your teacher held you back to talk to you about college applications in a rather concerned tone of voice. It's their job to pretend to care, so it's your job to pretend to listen. In a perfect world, you open a mail and an acceptance letter for a college you never applied to would just fall into your hands. Doesn't matter which one, any of them are fine. Preferably when you're Walter's fancy med school. But it's way more likely you just copy most of what Annie wrote and apply to the same one as her, so at least feel somewhat familiar. Yet somehow you doubted Annie had any application plans in mind, just miraculously hoping it all worked out eventually. You could hardly blame her. You could see Annie and Walter bicker from a mile away. Those two were never up to any good if left alone too long. Although, maybe you should give them some time. See how it plays out. If anything goes wrong, you could always intervene. Walk out the door that leads out the building and hide behind a conveniently placed tree near a pair of park benches of various stains and leftover trash. From here out you can make out most of their words, and it felt just a little ridiculous. If anyone were around to see it, you really wouldn't have had any good explanation as to what you were doing. They might think you were a creep listening in on them. Which was sort of exactly what you were doing. It was extremely childish, and extremely nosy, but also No, there was nothing else. You just wanted to spy on them. Hello, Annabelle. Walter. Waiting on Oliver. What's it to you? Why am I even asking? Not if you have anyone else to wait for. Very high coming from you. Walter clicked his tongue. His patience growing thin already. So where is he? Teacher wanted to talk to him about college. Right. You know, you should look out for him more. Eh? What are you trying to say? Nothing. Whatever. Leave exchanged a bitter look and laid the conversation to rest. Felt just a little bad to let them wait out on me for so long. Mostly for Annie, Walter did handle himself. When you think about standing up to spare them any further torture, then Walter speaks up again. Do you know where you're going? To college? As if you care. Well, sorry for acting like I do. We wouldn't kill you to be a bit nicer. Didn't do anything to you. Your friends do more enough. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. No. Don't want you to order them to follow me around again. Oh please, you act like they're beating you. They would if they didn't get in trouble for it. So if you're really worth the time, you're really not as important as you think. And you are? Actually, yeah, more than you. That's just thanks to your mommy and daddy's money. Only pay the guys to hang around you anyway. Your allowance is running thin, or why aren't they with you? You're just making shit up. Everyone else may believe in your bullshit, but I don't. Issues. It's true. Heard the others talking about it. Spend your break running back and forth to the vending machine that much fun? It's kind of pathetic if you ask me. Walter neared in, nearly pressing his forehead against Annie, who flinched away just a bit. Harassing at that speed. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what they also say? Her look remained stern, even if the smallest bit faltered. He whispered the words so Annie could hear them. I do not like this guy. I don't like this guy either. Walter sucks. They made for an awful trio. Then there was silence. Stone cold, dead silence. Annie's eyes widened and she let out a barely audible noise. Just to say these out loud. Walter stood still for a moment, holding his hand over his cheek. His face returned away from her, hiding his expression. When you realize what had just happened, you jump to your feet, hoping to break them apart before it gets any worse, but Walter recovered from his shock faster than expected. Trauma trio, I guess. It's the trauma trio. Great word, Cyberson. The soft sound scared me. Yeah, it did that to me too. I was playing an RPG Maker game the other day. It called It's Not Me, It's My Baseball Arcade Kitten. And I set the sound effects settings way too loud, so every time something happened, I just got jump scared. Next thing you know, there were Walter's hands clawing at Annie's scrawny shoulders to hold her in place as she tried her best to get away from him, thrashing and yelling as she does, saying something, his voice growing louder and louder the more she fights against him. In the midst of it, his eyes finally meet yours, and you get in there as you land in your vicinity. Without any words, he releases his grasp of Annie. She cries out and he storms out the gate, fleeing the scene. Real, you feel the noise in your soul. Yes, I do, in fact. Annie breathes heavily as you come into frame, ready to feign ignorance. What happened? And you could tell she was at the verge of crying, but her performance left a lot to be desired. Gathered enough from the conversation to know it wasn't a one-sided argument. Her crocodile tears wouldn't impress you this time. Oliver! 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 I have no words for you. He just grabbed me and started yelling in my face! He wouldn't just do that. Well, he did! Do you provoke him? Even if, how does it make it okay? It doesn't, but it explains it. Annie hesitates a little too long for it to be just out of shock. I may have said something to him. It was a little mean, but it was the truth. We looked at that. No more crying, no more hysteria. Annie was back to her normal avoidant self. Blatantly lying at that. You just want to hear her admit it. To no luck. Be nice to our girl. I don't know what happened, but I'm defending her. Yes, you should. I mean, she isn't really... she isn't really totally innocent in terms of morals, but she is by far the least worst character in this visual novel. Look, plus she's a literally me character, so I guess that influences my opinion on Annie. But Oliver and Walter by comparison, are a lot worse than Annie. You just want to hear her admit it. To no luck. They completely freaked out and started to get physical. You're impossible. Seriously, one day without you two ripping each other's throats out, is that too much to ask? She's mean to me all the time! How's that any different? And shouted out various borderline profanities after you as you set off, turning your back on her to follow after Walter. Annie, your only slightly problematic queen. The man in question, already way out of sight, paid you in your attempts to tell him to slow down absolutely no mind. You opted to set out in a pathetic little sprint that left you way more out of breath than it should have. You trot up to Walter, who turned a sharp corner, pointedly ignoring you. Huffy and out of breath, you grab him by his shoulder to stop him in his tracks. What's wrong, man? Your little rabid dog of a girlfriend is a bitch, that's what. Dude, what the hell? Sorry. Sorry, I'm just mad. Doesn't mean you can say that about her. Oh, I can't? She's a fucking rumor milling person. But she goes around and starts saying God knows what about me. Annie says something different every day, like they really care what she has to say. But that's my point. She can run her mouth whenever she wants, and it's fine because she's the puppy I'm her little girl with divorced parents. You can't really compare a situation to yours. Because you know so much about me and my family. Indian mom, American dad. One of the few things he knew was that Walter's mother was rather strict with him. That wasn't something he bared himself, but rather known from second-hand experience. Such a fancy house, the walls were very thick. Didn't need to understand what they were saying to recognize her tone of voice, the one only a scolding parent possesses. Despite what Walter was implying, this was an invite testament of itself. What'd she say that made you so pissed? What's it to you? You always cover for her ass. Can you cut the bullshit and just spit it out? Walter grit the start of his fat and bit his tongue. It wasn't something new that he preferred to keep his feelings to himself. Nonetheless, he really was avoidant about something. She said that my friends are only using me for my money. What? Why aren't you saying anything? Well, she's not completely wrong. Oh my god, you're such a fucking dick! No, but think about it. I mean, how much time would they really spend with you if you weren't their errand boy? Or if your house wasn't basically a liquor store? Walter stopped and rolled his eyes. His posture stiffened, immediately becoming defensive. Those are just things we do for each other. You wouldn't know anything about that. She wouldn't have said something like that in the first place if your friends stopped picking on her. It really sucks for her. I don't know who you think I am, but I don't have any say in what they do. Not my fault she's making herself such a victim. It's like she wants it. Are you serious, Walter? Walter! Walter's by far the worst character. All of them are well written, and that makes me hate them even more. Look, Walter. Forgive me if my choice of words are a bit crass, but Walter's the biggest dick I've ever seen. Just look at him. Just look at how he's always acting to Annie. He's always patronizing her and acting like she's like a little kid. Well-written, dislikable characters are the best, dude. I know, right? I love it when a character in a visual novel is very real written, and I want to pelt them with rots. That's the best thing in the world. I mean, not really, but it's close. She's not doing anything like that. Walter let out a childishly exaggerated, drawn-out groan that you were pretty sure to be heard all over the neighborhood. Doesn't matter what I say. I'm going home. Do you want me to come with you? I don't know. Can you decide Can you decide something without asking Annabelle first? Towards this debut, you can't think of anything smart to say. So he said he'd say nothing at all. He never talked about it. Maybe didn't want to assume anything, but maybe also really didn't have another choice than to play along with the others, being the odd one out. The kid with the weird lunchbox. It was a touchy subject. At that moment, he looked a little more like that pouty kid from primary school way back when, than the guy he made himself out to be. However that may be behind it all. Walter knew a lot about you, more than you'd like him to. When it came to himself, he was rather tight-lipped. Other than studying, he didn't show great interest in anything. He liked video games. I mean, he must have, considering he had every console currently on the market, with nearly every game that was currently released. Sometimes only playing them once then decide they're no fun and laying them rotten up bots under his bed. I wonder if he only played them as long as you were around. Like, oh my god, Otto from The Sound of Nightmares is such a well-written, horrible person. I want to punch him whenever he speaks. It's awesome. Okay, it may be the best feeling in the world. The second best. At least, the second best. The very least, the second best. You passed down the street that led the way to his home, drawn by identical-looking houses neatly lined one after another, while Walter ahead of you suddenly blew off steam. Walter's house, although estate may be a more fitting term, stood pretty much in the middle of what you could call the heart of your town. There was the mall, but just a few years ago, and just as boring as it always was. One cinema that played the same old movies on repeat, few burger joints rolled at the point in the infamous duck pond where teenagers would meet to get wasted. It was exactly a bustling hub of entertainment, but it's still worlds better than your home on the outskirts of town, caged in by the endless forest. The closest trace of civilization was a church only a few minutes' drive away, and also the last stop of the bus line at that, always leaving you to walk the rest of the way home. It took Walter 5 minutes to have science and stuff at the crossway that you would lead further down the way to his house to turn around to face you again. You had enough to pretend you didn't exist. You weren't going to leave anytime soon. I'm hungry, but I got something to eat. While Walter's peace offering was very much appreciated, food wasn't exactly the best way to lure you. Not really. I'll pay, too. No, I'm not hungry. I always get the sense... It's been a lot more lately that I always get the sensation that I'm going to sneeze and then I never sneeze. Like, yes, you get it, this is how horrible, mean, bad people act. You got it perfect. Anyways, I hate Walter. I know nothing about him, but I dislike him. You'll dislike him a lot more after that. What was I going to say after that? You're going to dislike him a bit more later. Oh yeah, you should probably watch the first Joyride to Hell stream I did last week. And then you should probably watch the second stream I did on Thursday. After this, of course, sets the scene. Gets you a lot more context, you know? You're never hungry. I'm getting you a burger. I just said I don't want one. And I don't care. I want one. You're getting one. I know they all taste like crap. What else is new? Oh god, that's a great sign. It truly is. Fine, whatever. Walter popped the cap of the drink and took a few last sips before offering you the rest. Had lost some of his fizz and was lukewarm by now, but you still accepted. Hell of a tasteless burger and a third of a soft drink later, he sat in the dirty parking lot of the fast food place and watched his fast cars drive by, sometimes listening to their drive-thru orders that feed a family of 5. How about we go for a drive sometime after graduation? Obviously, assuming you'll make it. Help me out a little. I don't know if you're worth the risk anymore. Walter tried to sound serious, but felt pretty flat considering he rarely ever pulled through with the things he said. It was all bark but no bite. This thought got firm when he just went on changing the topic like nothing happened. Remember the cliffside by the woods? Maybe you can do a road trip over the summer. Drive there or out, go to a town that doesn't suck as much. You know, develop a car and stuff. Walter crumpled up the wrapping of his burger and aimed at the trash can, hitting right into its bullseye. Stare at the half-finished burger in your hands and think about doing the same, but Walter paid for it. Be a waste. If you're honest, it was probably less about the money and more something else. Yeah, I decide for us. Summer sucks ass here, it's so boring. You're not going anywhere with family? I'll just say I'm busy applying to med school. I'll stay behind, they don't need to know. You mean it? Yeah, sure. As long as it stays between us and we don't end up taking your dog along. Don't call Annie that. What do you say to her about then? Oh, she didn't text you yet? Color me surprised. I do really appreciate from what I've seen that all the main three's actions are understandable, even if I seem understandable. Even if I disagree with them, I can still see why they do what they do. It's nice. Yes, it really is. Tallies is a very good writer. They're really talented, you know? Maybe don't follow them on Itch.io or something. I put the Itch.io page in the description. I think they also have an Instagram too. Yeah, they have an Instagram. I would never touch Instagram with a 10-foot pole ever in my life. At least not with my own account. So I use the business account my mother and my sister share. And oh my god, they have seen Girl Annie! Pardon me. But they have seen Girl Annie! Rip Annie, Joyride to hell. You would have loved to be in a scene, girl. At the realization you were going to take this sarcasm for an answer, Walter furrowed his brows. Doesn't matter. Shouldn't start fights you can't finish. Maybe just apologize to Mom before you try to avoid her for a week again. This time Walter put his foot down. He swore that he wouldn't come crawling back to her, that he had enough dignity to wait for her to apologize first as he should. You and Walter Dad sitting and talking about the world's most meaningless things till it started getting dark and you parted ways. The next day, during lunch period, Walter apologized. Pardon me. I need to drink more water. Man, it made you realize that Walter, beside all the crass things he said, just wanted people to like him. The road trip was what you had been looking forward to the whole year. The whole last year. It's your own getaway from this whole town and everyone in it. Thought maybe, just maybe, you'd come back home after and miraculously would have the guts to make everything right. Was stuck in a dream that would never come to fruition. So easy to pretend Annie didn't exist. And when you knew you should have felt guilty for thinking that you didn't. It felt freeing to not have to think about what to say and how to act around her every day. Pretend you didn't mind her long-winded thoughts about her family, how everyone and everything was so annoying. The way Annie talked about other people dragged you down. You had this fleshed out, negative image of classmates you never had even spoken to before, is what Annie had told you. Things she supposedly overheard, So while looking at their notes, their phones, stories about their family and relationships, stories you're not even sure were true. If they weren't, what did she gain by making everything up? Most people lied about themselves to put themselves in a better light. Annie lied about others to put them down, not even to an audience, just to you. Only started bothering you when it came to Walter. Annie tried to talk to him bad, made you angry, because you knew it wasn't true. None of it was. It was the confirmation you had always anticipated yet fretted at the same time. It was all lies. You'd always had to tell where you went with who for how long, all while she lied her ass off all the time. It wasn't fair. So you figured, if Annie was lying to you all the time, wouldn't that make it okay for you to do so too? And so you didn't feel guilty for turning your back on her that day. No, not at all. Annie chose to say those things to spread her lies. Everything she did was with certain intent. You don't understand. This will ruin my fucking life. Annie had a choice. Walter didn't. Hey, Ollie. Oliver! A pointy elbow nudges into your ribcage. Your eyes jolt open, and the first thing you notice is a dull ache coming from your neck, lightly caused by the way you were resting. You lift your hand and stretch your neck, rubbing it gently with your hand. The ache subsides, and as you stretch your head back, you find your jacket laying discard on the floor, so you decide to pull it back over your freezing arms. This isn't really the time to be dozing off, you know. Oh, is Annie a victim of abuse who became the abuser? Well, yes, Annie is a victim of abuse, but... And this may just be... Let me clarify, the influence of her being a relatable character to me. But it's not that she's an abuser, you know. Most of the time they're both in the wrong, but it's... Most of the time they're both in the wrong, you know? It's... Sorry, I'm not that good at talking, actually. Despite being a straight man and all. I always have so many thoughts in my head that I can't get out. Why am I like this? Oh no, I mean in the they're both toxic for each other way. Yes, Oh, you meant that? Okay, yes, that's what I was getting at, by the way. It's like that they're both insanely bad for each other. They both made each other worse. You let out a half-hearted chuckle. Sorry. What are you dreaming about, Not much. I was just tired. What were you doing while I was out? Oh, Oh, wait. I'm mixing up who is saying what a lot. What were you doing while I was out? Oh, just thinking, watching the ocean. Decided to lead slightly forward to see what was so interesting about the body of water, and sure enough, the red delta was nowhere to be seen, likely having found its rightful place at the bottom of the ocean. If it doubts towards whatever had saved its interior and flooded to the surface, you didn't know. You certainly did not want to stick around to find out. It's been like this for some time. Never came out. She sounded like she expected him to. He even had hoped so. Those movies were correct. Bodies didn't come afloat till days later. Since he's trapped in a car, maybe he won't ever surface. It'd be your ideal scenario for him to disappear in the quietest way possible. Though you doubt Annie would find that very comforting to hear now. get an idea what to do now? Annie shakes her head, her vision still glued to the ocean. We can't just go back like nothing happened. I don't really want to go back home. The implication behind Annie's words was clear. She wanted to run away with you. She wanted to leave this town and never come back, like she always said she would. Although you didn't expect that day to be today, and not with Annie by your side if you were completely honest. Well then, first we should get our hands on a new car, maybe an RV. We could live out of that for a while. You're just agreeing? You should. Do I have a choice? Don't say it like I'm forcing you. So what, do you want me to walk home now and forget any of this ever happened? You can't just buy a car. Neither one of us should use our real names when buying anything. That's only fake ideas. Who says we have to buy it legally, with papers and all anyway? Because that's so easy. It's not impossible. That can hardly be traced back to us. Some backwater town, I'm sure there'll be someone wanting to get rid of the junkyard car. For that, we first have to get to a hit town. By foot. Annie's constant questioning did not help you feel at ease. It also did not help that you were the only one making actual suggestions, while she was busy taking each and every one apart. Since when was she ever in charge here? You've done everything up till now. Not she ever made any sound decision herself. Well, I guess we'd better get going. We get lighter, not darker. Sure as hell not staying tonight. Don't like camping? Can hardly call it camping without a tent. It's telling me like Bible camp all over, but way worse. I like Bible camp. I'm sure you did. Yeah, I was really good at capture the flag. Everyone wanted me on their side. No way, you suck at PE. I don't suck, I just don't participate. It's not worth the effort. I don't buy it. Oh, you don't? Annie took a slow step backwards, and then another. She started smiling, and upon instant you started closing in, but by then, she had already turned around, starting off to a childish sprint. Hey, get back here! After about what felt like an hour of trudging through winding dirt paths and endless forests, a road was nowhere to be seen. Annie kept asking repeatedly to the lights of a tin in the backseat of a car when you'll finally be there, without knowing where there even is. Vaguely remembers seeing a motel some miles out of town where you left for your partner's summer trip this year. Prayed for a miracle that you somehow run into that rather than a hitchhiker who only see two suspiciously disheveled teenagers with a crowbar in hand. My Bible tent was fun, but I only remember painting rods. Pardon me. God, for someone who talks a lot, I convey my thoughts and tats a lot better. You prayed for a miracle that you'd somehow run into that, rather than a hitchhiker who will only see two suspiciously disheveled teenagers. I always mix words up. Suspiciously disheveled teenagers with a crowbar in hand. That or a crazy person running through the woods on the... Ah! Don't just... Sorry about that. We got dropped. Eh? 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 What does we dot dropped mean? Oh no, is this a dumb question? I'm sorry. That, or a crazy person running through the woods on the prowl and mistaking your fleeting form as one of his future trophies. Hear a gentle trickling of water before you slip through another line of trees and see a little stream winding through the woods. It didn't appear too deep, but at least you leap it or wade through within its face. The water wouldn't come any higher than your knees. You all passed it, taking the scenery for just a moment, but disregarding it quickly. We as in Mike. Oh. I mean, you can't really drop it considering it's not a handheld microphone. It's like one connected to the headset I'm using. One fact, I got this desktop around the start of September, and I wanted to stream again, but I have these Bluetooth headphones. I used to use it on just my tablet, but after the wired headphones I was using broke, I decided to use it for my. And I couldn't. I think there's an issue with my desktop that makes me unable to connect to Bluetooth for some reason. So I couldn't stream ever unless I got like a headset for computers, which I did. At least it sounded like it might not drop. I just turned the little. There's like a little switch of something that you can use to turn off the mic. Hey, that melody is familiar. Anyway, seeing the stream here meant you likely weren't as far away from the cliffside as you'd like to be by now, or even on the right path at all. You let out a frustrated sigh, looking around disoriented, unsure where to go next. Would following the stream lead you outside of town, or just further into the wilderness? The latter was more likely. Then which direction do you steer instead? Up, down, and left or right, northeast or west or south? You had no idea where anything was anymore, where you stood or where you started off, or any of this even led. Perhaps crossing a river would be the most logical option. After all, you decided. Someone needed to decide. We need to cross the river. You should take off your shoes. High whining ran out from behind you. I don't wanna. I'm tired and we're not getting anywhere. Yeah, if you're complaining the whole time, you won't. My legs hurt. I have scratches all over. This sucks. So what? You'll just sit down and stay here forever? Watch me. And that she did. Annie sat down by the little stream and dunked her hands in it, playing with the water. You rolled your eyes. You rolled your eyes and out a heavy breath through your nose. No need to get impatient. She was just as frustrated as you, surely. She just needed a break. A little break wouldn't make things any worse. You poke Annie's head from behind. She wobbles forward as if spineless, and you let out a mocking snort as she nearly tumbles into the stream. It seemed to do the trick of making her loosen back up. What's your issue? You need someone to keep you steady? Your question was met with an attempted angry glare. You end up sitting down behind Annie, wrapping your arms around her. I could use a drink. Should grab one of those beer bottles from the back seat. Me too. No drinking for you, little lady. No drinking for you either. But it's 2 years less illegal. I have the YouTube chat open on my tablet, and there's a flickering blue light reflected on the screen. Is that what is that? What in the world? It's not coming from the CPU. Is it? Oh. Oh, weird. I'll think about that later, probably. But it's 2 years less illegal. That's not how it works. He shrugged. We just killed a person. I think underage drinking would pale in comparison. And he scrunched her nose in response. I don't like it when you drink. Makes you stink. Keeps you away from kissing me, at least. Now, why would you want that? Just joking. Only... And we get back together. Immaculate timing, as always! Did we ever break up? Well, you were very serious about pushing me out of your life. I had a right to be. Sorry. Just didn't want to be forgotten. I would never forget you. Tove just talked to me. Would you have stopped? Could have at least explained. Explained how you're cheating? Annie looks away, clearly moping, but not saying a word. She always manages to make you feel like shit. Really just for show for you? I do like you. But not enough. You gotta do what you gotta do. No, wait. Yeah. Return. I allowed you not to kill your dad with you. Does that mean anything to you? Annie lolled her head to the side, looking off into the distance. What's he got that I don't? Besides, the obvious. It's not about that. So like girls too. I like you at least. Just me. Don't push it. I just never liked him. He's snobby. After everyone knew he pretended to like you, he pretended like you forced yourself on him. He was always disloyal. Oh, so you did that to test his loyalty to me? Very chivalrous of you. If you say you're sorry again, I will push you. For real this time. Saying you're going to push Annie into the creek will not have good effects, Oliver. Please don't threaten to push her into the creek. Oh, please. Oliver, please. Oliver. good. Having walled enough, Annie freed herself from your grasp and jumped up, suddenly seeming energized. Hey, before we go, what do you say we carve initials into one of the trees? That'd be so romantic, wouldn't it? You had a snort. Why are you laughing? Sorry, it's just... That's what you're thinking about? Right now? Seriously? Well, I don't want to grovel in misery all night long. Come on, it'll be cute! Annie started her view for the perfect tree to masquerade and once found began running gleefully to it. Wait, she was actually serious? Annie, do you not realize how stupid of an idea this is? Annie continued her merry way, playing with a sharp object that seemed mocked you in a tone that didn't even match your voice. Grabbed her by the arm to hold her back, causing to yell. What's the matter? Will you listen to me? We're near a crime scene. They'll investigate the forest to find traces of your dad, and then imagine they'll stumble onto a tree etched with our initials on them. We might as well turn ourselves in. Annie pouted, but finally seemed to listen to a bit of reason. Lots of people's names starts with the letter A and O. You know what I mean, right? Yeah, buzzkill. Also, why do you have a knife with you? Self-defense? Hence who? Me? I don't know. Patted to feel safer. Okay, well, there is no need for that anymore. I think it's best if I take it. Eh? Why is that? I'll just put it back. No, wait. Just put it back. Give me the knife, Annie. You didn't mean to sound so demanding, but you slowly but surely didn't sit of letting Annie tremble all over you. No, I already said I won't do it. What do you want it? Just don't want you running around with it. It's dangerous. With a sour expression, Dee quickly slid the little knife out into her small brown bag, only to then lift both her hands up as if held at gunpoint, wiggling her fingers. It's already gone, see? He didn't find anything about Annie's ads remotely amusing. You know what? Do what you want. I'm sick of this. Wait a minute. Are you seriously mad? What did I do wrong? I was just joking. Phew, there's no need to break it to her just yet. Annie was easy to handle when she was full of herself. Whenever she got insecure, you'd be sure to spend the next 10 minutes comforting her. Which, of course, you didn't mind doing, being the loving boyfriend that you are. You simply did not deem that very time efficient, considering from now on you were actively running from the law. Can't sit around here all day. I'm leaving. Hey, come on, talk to me. I said I wouldn't do it. It's not about that. I asked one thing of you and you just don't do it your way instead anyway. That's not fair. I always do what you want. Yeah, like what? Like, you know, like what? I always came over when you wanted to me. No, wait. I always came over when you wanted me to. I cooked and helped you clean. I did every school project we were assigned. Hell, I spent time with Walter just because I knew I'd then make you happy. You clicked your tongue. You didn't expect you to actually name something. Yeah, but never without a fight. You only do that to appease me, not because you agree with me. So what's the problem with that? If I didn't do half those things, no one would have. I'm not the one who's almost 20 and not done with high school. That's a low blow. You started this! You're saying that like it's my fault. Oh yeah, it's never your fault. It's not! I've been screwed over left and right my entire life! Annie scoffed and rolled her eyes. Oh, here we go again! God, you know what? They got it all figured out and are so independent. Without me here, you'd be dead by now! Annie looked at you as you not. Annie looked at you Annie looked at you as if you just spat on her sneakers. It's supposed to be a little snarky remark, one that stings just a little. But you did not expect the topic to upset her as much as it apparently does. I mean that if I didn't pick up your call, you probably would have just scurried around your house and cried for hours till your dad woke up and would have done and went done God knows what to you. And even if you did drive out all there on your own, which would probably be a miracle and stuff, they could probably convince you to do otherwise, and then you'd really be the one underwater. You called me for help because you need me. You always do. Tears start welling up in Annie's eyes, and her lip trembles as she tried to fight against your accusations. Alternate look in her face tells you all you need to know. Yet she still fights. That's not true! I can handle myself! It never is with you! You turn around to make your way forward. Yet again Annie stands still in her place like a stubborn kid. Unwilling to move and unwilling to admit her wrongs. Not she won't follow if you don't turn back around. Does Annie know you're bluffing? For all she knows, you'd really be leaving. Her stubbornness could really leave her deserted one of these days. From a mile away, you can make out faint sniffles, coming from none other than Annie. You might have gone a little too far. Such as the more annoyed part of you wants to leave her be and fend for yourself, then all that ever was for nothing, you realize. You groan inwardly as you turn on your heel. First part was done, now you just have to make amends. You approach Annie, who keeps her back turned to you. Didn't you want to leave? Then turn back around if that's what you want. You suck. Don't just walk away from me like I'm a little kid. This is serious, Annie. I don't know if you understand that. Do you want to go to jail? I know I don't. Of course not. Just want to lighten the mood. Such a spoil sport. Look at Annie with tears in her eyes and her mascara just a little smudge. Well, she looks a little cute. Unless it is trick. You just wanted to do a little lesson, that's all. Things won't always go as she wants them to. Can't always have her way with you. Will you give me the knife now? Fine, whatever. Don't know why this is such a big deal to you. Annie promptly shoved the entirety of her bat in her face for you to carry. It was a little too late for you to realize. You could have just asked her to carry your bat for her down the road, and she would have never so much as given it a second thought. You'll know for next time, you suppose. Thanks. Now let's get going. The blue light is gone, by the way. I don't know what's up with that. You move along, but Annie tugs you on your jacket, holding you behind for just a moment longer. Wait, we'll get through this, right? Together? Yeah, it'll be okay. Do you promise? Of course. I promise I won't leave you. You're my girlfriend, after all. Annie's features softened up, a smile drooping on her lips in an instant. After renounced all her troubles and burdens of the world so quickly erased from her mind, she beamed at you and pulled you in for a hug. It didn't matter if you meant it or not. It kept Annie happy, you'd play along. She didn't have you, she had nothing. You didn't do that to her. Not after what happened to her, not after you left Aster behind. What a good boyfriend you are. Give yourself a pat on the back. Seems like you're some use after all. She's just as cheerful as she used to be before it all. As cheeky and snarky as when you just met her. Such an adorable girl she is. You offer Annie your hand, which she accepts, and you both move into the thicket of the wood, the unknown swallowing you whole. Oh, that's it. Who's that from? Oh, my throat is sore now. You pull your phone from your jacket and stare at the message on the bright screen. It's Aster. She is asking where I am. I'm sorry, call me, I want to talk. Will you respond? No, I'll toss my phone later. Oh, okay. You smile at Annie, reassuringly, and she returns the gesture. It was such a hopeful expression, as if you were her whole world, her universe. How do you deny her, a soul so innocent? She sours you with love, lays at your feet, every man's dream, and yet you don't feel anything. You don't feel anything where this love should be. Perhaps God existed after all, and this was his punishment. Harass! Perhaps God existed after all, and this was his punishment. Sudden spurt of service in an area as desolate and hopeless as this. A text message that never should have arrived. Eh? Eh? To imagine him looking down on you in this very moment, laughing and pointing at you. In a way, is it pretending to love someone and not out of love itself? Deep down in that cold, mechanical heart of yours, truly believe so, that you did love her. You're sure Annie would agree. She had any say in the matter. She stood so nice and quiet all this time. What was going on in that little head of hers, you wonder? Tired and sore with the weight like lead in your veins, press the sharp exhale and close the front door behind you without so much as a thought. Shift your fingers more securely around the backpack you carried and slowly creep forward, uncertain what would await. The inside of the apartment was dark except for the glow of the TV off to the right. At the state of it, your eyes fell to a near close in its saturation. You drew a breath through your teeth and steeled yourself. Treading lightly to the kitchen, take a moment to pile up the excess dishes that were starting to litter the kitchen counter in order to make space for your bag. You put down your bag on the counted counter. The light thought you made a mental note to take care of the mess later, otherwise Mom will complain again that the place is a pigsty the moment she comes home. Dad was sitting on the couch. He didn't look at you when he came in. You approached him carefully, waiting for him to say anything, but all he does is gaze further into the flickering screen playing some sports channel. You hover over the edge of the couch, hoping to gain his attention. Are you still mad at me? Neither did he make any implication that he was going to answer you, which was an answer all by itself. You are. That's months ago now. I said I'm sorry. Tossed his head at that, but nodded, turning around. You weren't worth that much, Em. I'm really bad about it. That's why I told you. What, like I should thank you? What do you want me to say? I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. Something like that? That make you feel better? I don't want you to act like I don't exist. Can you look at me when you're talking? I'm watching something. In an act of defiance or frustration, or like the long overdue build-up of both together, you walked over to the TV and blocked his view. Instinct quite warned the reaction you had hoped for. He sat up straight, groaning as he did. You want to talk? Let's talk. I've known for a while. I was just waiting for you to tell me. But really, 3 years? You must have been really fucking stupid to not notice you've been dating someone for 3 years. It's none of your business who I spend my time with. I should be allowed to have a boyfriend. I'm 17. It becomes my business when you think you can lie to me. I'm your father. You don't get to lie to me. Do you understand? You're not my dad. You never acted like one. Oh, well, I guess I just imagined all those parent-teacher conferences I went to. I hate you. I wish Mom was here. Your mom? The woman who puts a roof over your head and spit in your mouth but never even shows her face? What's she gonna do? It's working. And when she's here, she's busy tidying up everywhere because you don't care to keep the place clean. You don't care about us at all. Daniel's face crumbled, the humor draining entirely from his features in roughly 2 seconds. In a blink of an eye, he lifted himself from the couch and retreated against the wall till your back collides with it. He didn't give any reassurance that he was coming or give any space for defense. Need I remind you of all the money I spent on you? Everything I bought you, whatever you wanted, places I took you to, times I busted my ass to show up in your school. I'm a good dad. I went to parent-teacher conferences. I know, right? I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. And I wish he would kill himself. Yeah! I'm actually like slapping my monitor. It's all thanks to me. You don't know that you come from a goddamn dump. All of it for you. All of it for you to go behind my back and do God knows what your boyfriend? He doesn't do stuff like that. And you never thought about why? It's just because he's not like that. You fall silent, embarrassed and watching over you as he mocks you. I have beef with this guy. You should have beef with Daniel, by the way. He is awful. Look, Walter may be the biggest dick I've ever seen, but this is an actually evil. This is an actually evil character. You fall silent, embarrassed and watching over you as he mocks you. Do you even hear yourself? Who's he hanging around with? His friend? Putting you second to some guy? You grit your teeth, swallowing your response. You know it's not true. He's trying to get a rise out of you because he's upset. He wants a sign of defeat, your resignation, because they give him exactly what he wants. The unavoidable makeup after a fight where for a few weeks everything is good. You both pretend it is. But you read lunch together, and he takes you on long drives with great music and funny jokes. By the time you come home, way past bedtime, you fall into bed together. It's bed that's warm, comforting, and not like the cold space you're supposed to call your own. Hold you the way he did when you were younger, more fragile and easy to mold. He was special, like he said, secretive. He was in a good mood when things were going as he wanted. You went along with emotions like a puppet on a string, and in between all the strange sensations, it felt nice. The thing about those times is, they never last. Not with you around, surely. Somehow you always decide to cause trouble and make him angry, with a look in your eyes or your enunciation that was somehow defiant. It seemed to last a little less of it every time it happened. The nice part. Then there was no lunch, no car rides, only Mom's nasty comments echoing through the walls and a cold shoulder whisper it all. And you feel like none of it was real, trying to tell anymore if that was good. Then the minute you pretend it wasn't, it hurt even more that you refused to acknowledge it. It wasn't worth it. Not this time. I've been keeping quiet too. What if I told someone? Mom? Or the police? This fucker's face. But instead of the glaring anger you expected, continue holding you in his unflinching stare, his not cracking open as a smile broke out of his face. That stupid self-righteous smile. Tell them what? But there's nothing to tell. But every synapse in your brain was telling, screaming at you to open your mouth and screech into his face as loud as he can. You didn't even will a single muscle in your body to move. He speaks. Yes, you should react like that, Cyberson. Annabelle, don't get in over your head. He says, backing off like the conversation's over just because he made his point. What do you want for dinner? I'll order it, whatever you want. When you're out of whatever this is. Oh, I hate him. Yes, you should. Yes, you should. You should hate him. Very much, actually. He just stands there looking at you, unimpressed, because what will you do, realistically? What can you do? I started over to his phone, laying the start on the shelf. Then the gears in your body begin to turn again, as if it moved on its own. Your arm reaches out and grabs it from the shelf. What are you doing now? Daniel questions, nodding his head a little. I ordered pizza. You say innocently, but he knows exactly what you mean by that. Start for your contacts in his phone, looking for her name, all the while he waits for you to make a move. For the phone to start ringing. Don't have the pizza guy's number saved if that's what you're looking for. Hover over the call button, airing him. How about you give that back to me? You don't answer. Daniel closes in. Storm off in the direction of the bathroom, turn your sharp corner and almost slipping under the fabric of your thoughts from to get a hold of the doorknob. Daniel yells out behind you, its footsteps growing louder in a wave of unbridled rage closing in on you with every passing second. Inside, you fumble with the key in the door, shaky hands losing your grip on it as you stumble to pick it up. As you scurry to pick it up, he breaks down the door with ease. Sit twisted. Sit terror. A sit terror twists through your innards as he slams it shut behind him. Only you and him in this tiny shared space. His phone must have fallen out of your hand, you notice. You feel it slip for the bathroom, with an accidental kick from your heel of your foot as you try to back off. Grabs your hand in an iron grasp, one so hard and bruised, and yanks it out the other. Try to yell, before you detect for the first syllable you've been shoved back against the wall. There's a finger pointing in your face alongside all the words being hurled into it. You think your mom would care? If your mother cared about you, she wouldn't go looking for men to take care of you! You bite your tongue, tears seeping to the corner of your eyes. Press your head back and turn as far as you could to avoid the majority of it. But you don't come trying to her when you have a bad day. Day. Maybe next time go to her instead. See how she'll treat you. Or even better, go off to your boyfriend who blows you off every other day. You want to do that? No, really. How about you don't tell him about all the things you did? You really think he'll stay with a girl like that? He was staring when he got so angry. Silence was always the best and only option for that tone. Stony, empty silence. Stared down upon your dirty sneakers and only hoped he would stop soon. Go! Go to his house right now and tell him. See what he'll do. And when you do, you'll see that he never cared about you to begin with. That's not true. He loves me. You start to cry in earnest, unable to keep up any longer. It's true, sweetie. Sometimes we have to learn our lessons the hard way. Soothes with a razor-sharp edge to his tone, so deadly it cut to the lightest touch. If you don't believe me, you gotta see for yourself that everyone in this world is full of shit. By God, we'll turn up out here like nothing happened. Although this is the only place you belong. He says the words that are supposed to comfort you. You saw, pressing your eyes shut and shaking your head profusely in denial. Oliver loved you. He said he did. He meant it. Repeated over and over like a mantra because if you don't, you're scared yourself believing it. His eyes never left you. Judging, condescending in pity-filled eyes. Daniel lets out a weary sigh and lets itself fall on your shoulder, on his arms to rest around your body. I love you, Annabelle. You know that, right? You didn't answer. You stared at the wall. Skin felt fuzzy and too tight. You want to peel it all off at the right spot. You want to know why these things happen to good people like us? Slowly tamed down from his fit of rage, his feet started slurring, and you could smell the pungent scent of alcohol as his breath of furry landed in. World's unfair. God just doesn't like our sorry asses. A breath cuts on in your throat. His hand slivers way up your shirt. Soft, words he hammered into your head just now, floating around in your brain, getting mixed up with the touch of his hands where they shouldn't be. It's almost enough to convince you that he couldn't possibly mean any of the things he said. Doesn't last. He didn't look up when he turned around. He didn't look up when he gave you the keys to his car. He didn't look up when he trudged back to the way he had come, to the same old couch. It's only when you shut the door to the Delta that you leaned back against the seat and stared up at the hovering blackness before the ceiling, and gulped in air like you never tasted before. He would do something. He loved you. He would help you. But Oliver was just like him. Like Dad, like Walter. After this, he would start seeing me the same way everyone else does. The way Walter said everyone did. You know what they also talked about? How you were so prudish all the time, when in reality you're probably just a huge slut. That's what everyone said, so I guess it must be true. And I know it's not Oliver you're sleeping with, so I really have to wonder who else it is that's putting up with you. To this day, you ask yourself if he was pushing you to it because he wanted to get caught, if you wanted to get arrested, wanted to repent in earnest, all because of some gnawing guilty conscience that hid itself deep in the back rooms or blind. Or if Daniel really, with all his trust in God above, believed, dare say bast, in the thought that Oliver will be too cowardly to help. And that were true, then what he said must be right. God just didn't like you. I actually despise this guy. Yes, Daniel is a very despisable man for what he did to Annie. Okay, you sit on the bed of your camper, happily looking at the text on your phone, a wide smile plastered on your face. It's been some time since you felt this good. Have you done something that was on your mind for quite a while? It needs to be done. It's for the better. Keys rattle in the door and you look up, watching a slightly sweaty and queasy Oliver stumble in. You hum, eyes lighten up as you jump up and run towards him. Have a good dream. Thank you, Cyberson. Have a good rest of your day. Ollie, you're home! You spread your arms, leaned in for a big hug, which you barely avoided. Not now, Annie. He laughed. Oh, come on, give your girlfriend a kiss. Mwah! Oliver tried to dodge away, only to end up cornered, when a strangled noise pushing you away hard. Stumbled back, crashing into a chair and falling to the ground. Oliver pulled a grimace, something between wincing and scowling. Ow, that hurt! He looked at Oliver. He seemed even paler. That hurt! I'm sorry. Oliver turned away and made a beeline to the bathroom, slamming the door shut and locking up behind him. Pouch still on the floor. You're no fun when you're like this! Shut up! He shouted back for the door, making you roll your eyes. He'll see soon enough. God will forgive someone who has once sinned and prayed for forgiveness. Will let ignorant sinners burn in hell. Get up, picking a chair from the floor, listening to Oliver rummaging behind the door, cursing. Sat down on the bed, waiting. Tit-tot, toes the clock. Plitter, clatter, go the bottles of pills, falling down onto the tiled flooring. Loud cursing, followed by a loud crashing noise. Soon after, the door unlocked and a frustrated Oliver appeared in front of you. Okay, where are they? You blinked at him. Where what? Oliver scrunched his nose, face delightfully pained. Don't play dumb with me! He vowed, looking away. You know what you did, so why was he making me say it? He banged his fist against the wall. making you yell as you fall back onto the bed. God damn it, don't tell me you did it again! You said you'd never do it again! What was he saying? You never done this before. On top of everything, now he was accusing you of all sorts of things. You flushed with anger, balling your hands and dripping the sheets for surface. I wouldn't need to do it if you didn't waste our all our money on them! But you're so fucking noble. I won't let you do it again, you say, but then we have no money when I leave it all to you! Decide you fucking blow it all to dead higher, don't even get paid in cash! He looked back at Oliver. His gaze had hardened, looking infuriated. A shiver went over your spine. I know all that! Don't bullshit me, Annie! Why do you keep doing this? I need to drink like a ton of water after this. Oliver ground his teeth together, putting one of his knees on the bed for leverage. I'll kill you if you don't tell me why! Right now! Because I hate the way you get when you're high. You're boring. You don't react to anything I do. Oliver's face went blank. The emotion wiped off her for a moment. The foolish idea that he might understand came into mind. Then it came back. He leapt forward and grabbed you by the throat, put his entire weight into his arms, your frail frame as he struggled to fight against it, crashed around and stretched his arms. Electricity spreads through your bones as he started to squeeze harder, making it difficult to breathe. The world around you started to get blurry. Neither gaps of air fight to ease their way into your crushed windpipe. Body lines are burning down his arms and straight through your body starts to fade away. Your once clear consciousness of a flickering radio signal. You start to ask yourself, why fight against it in the first place? Wasn't the struggle everything you wanted? The thrill of the fight? You never wanted to win. Try it out a little, maybe. Make it really earn it. So the darkness closing in. The signal turning off. It's nearly time. You looked at Oliver through his squinted eyes, his face contorted with raw anger, only wishing to keep his attention on you. Only you. For a second longer. Yeah? A phone? Whose phone was ringing? I don't know what I can be. Maybe in a month or so. I'm getting there. Yeah, I'll see you soon. It was Oliver's voice. That's the same plushie that was in Annie's room, by the way, the one that I pointed out. Still there. Lazily, you open your eyes and look around yourself, dazed. It seems your dream got interrupted. You don't know when you dozed off, only that Oliver seemed sort of upset when he left. Ah, but he can never stay mad at you for very long. Surely he's forgotten all about it by now. The muffled voice recedes and you hear keys jingling in the keyhole, unlocking the door to the RV. Oliver's home. You know that didn't right. Ollie, you're home! You jump up and lean into his waiting arms, gently hugging you back. Damn. Oh, damn indeed, Enzo Doodle. Hi, Annie. What's got you so riled up, I had a nightmare. Oh, I'm sorry I wasn't there. I don't like it when you're out for so long. You said be home by 9. I know. Should have told you it'd take longer. Didn't you see my text? I didn't. I'm sorry. You nestled into him, longing to find any sort of comfort in his chest. It was cold. Oliver was always cold. The icy hands on your back barely even felt like hands at first, just like cold water. You always say that. I am. We just got really distracted. Decided to let the topic rest. I brought this exact same thing a million times before. While Oliver might say they won't do it again if you push further, you know that I'll still end up the same way next time again. Who are you calling up there? He always did this. He heard you clearly. He's just pretending not to find himself a little more time to think about Thought I overheard something before you came in. Maybe I was still dreaming. Oh, it was just Sid. He asked me to for his scheduled practice the first day. There's no point in asking. You know all his answers already. You bite your lip, letting another question fall from lips nonetheless. Are you mad at me? What? Of course not. What a stupid question indeed. Of course he wasn't. Oliver didn't get mad. He was never mad. He was never much of anything, always molding himself to be what you need at the very moment. He said things exactly as you want to hear them, rattling down his apologies or words of comfort. It was hollow. There's no meaning to any of it. The most insulting part was how he thought you believed in him. He had this air around him, like he was proud of his performance, like he was doing you a favor. Oliver's hand slid down the curve of her face in an all too familiar manner. You found yourself leaning into it, despite yourself. I already forgot about it during practice. Let's just move on, yeah? Okay. How was it? Practice. It was fine. He says, simple as that. Come on, be more specific. Why don't you guys play again? I wanna watch. That's Friday, at some club downtown. Why don't we check it out? You know, judge the competition? You tell by the pause he made that your suggestion didn't thrill him. It didn't thrill you either, for that matter. The clubs where he and the other guys played were always too crowded and too loud, and the smell of smoke made it hard to breathe. But it'd be better than to pretend to fall asleep only for him to terribly slip it up to hours later, you convince yourself. Do we need to? Well, no. Oliver let out a sight at the forthcoming but as if you merely talking to him was an inconvenience. Did I take use the distraction? Right. Fine, why not? Yay! Well then, go pick out a nice outfit, yeah? You don't want to miss the encore. He left you to your own devices as he went outside for a smoke, he said. But he was just talking on the phone again, only at a distance where you wouldn't overhear him. Shoot him one last glance before going inside. Doesn't notice, too busy looking at his phone. The screen lights up and you wonder who it is you're looking at. Something about the scene made you viscerally angry. Turn a thought around in your head. What it was around him that made you recoil, but then you realize it was Oliver's faint, smart smile. Made you think of someone else. Someone antagonistic and condescending, who loved reminding you of your place in the world. Comb your hair the same way you always do, with the same brush and same motion. Here he comes again. Such a shame for your blonde hair. Put your makeup the exact same way you always do, always taking 15 minutes, not one more nor less, just the way he likes. You never put in this work ever for me. I would have appreciated it. Without the frat chest you know he likes. No wonder you let those looks leaving the house looking like that. Keep your nails nice and short, your hair clean and fresh, your skirt's not too short so it's not unwanted attention. Keeping yourself in a state of cryostasis. All for him. He doesn't notice, does he? But no matter how hard you try, doesn't look at you. His eyes focus on your features, but there's a film over his eyes, a thought that is all-consuming and everlasting. There's lenses of what is left of him shine through the filter at times, drawing during frustrations sometimes even a glee in his face would seem genuinely happy. It's never when he was facing you. Try to convince yourself that as much an imaginary fleeting, passing season, doesn't change, doesn't pass. Thoughts where it's always winter, love that may or may not have been there has long frozen over. It needs in a way that was frustrating. You knew that he didn't, that the love he clinged to wasn't something that existed, not for you. You know, along. There's a spark of hope that someday it might change. The person you see that comfort from was no longer there. He was bits and pieces of other people, traces of strangers scattered all over him, consuming them, their personality and their thoughts. He was eating them all up, one by one. The stupid piercing on his left eyebrow that missed the one of the drummer, the spare hair tie that he wore around his lips for the long black hair of the lead singer. Said it though he hit so well, accompanied by the familiar voice on the other end of the line that sounded as conniving as it always did. The way he told you like you were a little kid, like you couldn't comprehend what he really meant to say. When he would lay with his head over the rim of the couch, high out of his mind, his Adam's apple protruding from his neck and an open invitation sliced right through it. Somewhere, someone completely different. You were still here, sitting, waiting by the bedside table, acting as an ashtray for him to put his cigarettes out. The voice in your head spites it and you want to smash your head on the wall till you only feel you could feel the blinding pain from it. But even if, he wouldn't relent. Like a tumor in your brain, he never goes away. I told you everything as it would happen, but you didn't listen. Makes you want to grab Oliver's throat, squeeze the life out of him till the blood vessels in his eyes pop and he's no longer any different from the Alfalfa, this dusty vermin with the grubby hands and hungry eyes. You step out of the RV, the dirt path sinking under your heels. You hear Oliver's keys tingle and lock turning once, then twice. To only one pair of keys, his, that fat hammered in your brain every time he tears he spun them around his fingers. Turns around and looks down on you, his eyes traveling all the way down and then up again, expecting every inch of you. The porch light was harshly illuminating his features. You look good. Oh, thank you. Not to believe he means it. Even though you know it's nothing more than mere false flattery, even though you know better, you hold on to that thought. Clutch it tight, for it might crumble at the sound of his voice if you don't. Oliver puts his hand on the nape of your neck and places his kiss on your forehead, almost childlike. You'll be the prettiest girl there. Same way Dad did, the same tone in his voice. When you looked up, Oliver was grinning. She'd been handsome when he grinned. His eyes twinkled when he did. For a few breathless, calm seconds, it's cold and clean and nothing else. But it's not nothing. Something always went wrong with Oliver's smile. There was always something calculating in it. Like he wasn't really happy at all despite what he was trying to portray. It also faded way too fast, like its switch had turned off. It was unnerving. It did that now when he said so in a low voice, almost a whisper. Before we go, you know I don't like asking this of you, but... No, wait. You know I don't like asking this of you, but... We're getting low on cash. He says this with perfect confidence, like it made sense. You should already know that it made sense. It's a declaration he made. He stopped the deed to your soul, signed and notarized. You waited. You knew he expected you to answer. You didn't. Instead you looked past him, to the RV, to the drawn curtains by the tiny bathroom window. It's only a matter of time now. This will be the day, you were sure of it. Couldn't wait for Oliver to find out, for him to finally show its true face. Then, and only then, he'd see you. Ending 1. Play pretend. tired. Yes, I am. I was going to talk about all all my all my analysis of this visual novel and such, but now I just want to sleep. God, I wish I never watched that stupid Clockwork video. Then I would have ever known about this game. I'm gonna go to sleep now. お疲れ。またね。